Ethan Cole was the kind of man people noticed the moment he walked into a room. Tall, confident, and dressed in tailored suits that cost more than most people's monthly rent, he was the image of success. As the CEO of a billion-dollar company, his name was synonymous with power and wealth, but behind the polished image was a man carrying an ache that money couldn't heal. Ever since losing his wife 3 years ago, his mansion had felt like an empty shell. The only light that remained in his life was his little daughter, Lily, whose laughter had slowly begun to fade, until Sophia came along. She wasn't just a nanny. She was gentle, patient, and full of warmth, the kind of woman who could turn a stormy day into sunshine just by singing Lily's favorite lullaby. Ethan watched the bond between them grow, and though he never admitted it out loud, he was deeply grateful to Sophia for giving his daughter back her smile. When the annual company gala was announced, a glittering event where CEOs arrived with glamorous models and powerful partners, everyone wondered who Ethan would bring this year. Whispers circled the office, betting on socialites or celebrities. But when the night arrived, he stunned everyone. Instead of a supermodel, Ethan walked toward the car with Sophia by his side. Dressed simply, nervously clutching her purse, she had no idea what awaited her. And with that single choice, Ethan set the stage for a night that would change everything. The ballroom shimmered with golden light as chandeliers sparkled above, and the hum of soft music mingled with laughter and clinking glasses. Guests turned their heads the moment Ethan walked in, expecting to see him accompanied by someone glamorous, someone who matched the grandeur of the night. Instead, Sophia stepped beside him, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted the hem of her borrowed navy blue dress. It wasn't designer, nor adorned with jewels, but it carried a quiet elegance that matched her spirit. She felt the weight of every stare, the silent judgment pressing down on her shoulders. Women in glittering gowns eyed her with thin smiles, and men raised their brows in surprise. A few whispers trailed through the crowd, half curiosity, half disdain. Sophia wanted to shrink back, to disappear into the marble floor, but Lily's small hand curled into hers gave her courage. Ethan, sensing her unease, leaned close and whispered, "You belong here as much as anyone." His words steadied her. He guided her with respect, not once letting go of her arm, as though to show the world she was not invisible. Some employees exchanged puzzled glances, others softened as they noticed the warmth between the three of them, the way Lily's eyes sparkled when Sophia smiled, the way Ethan's stern face softened in her presence. For the first time that evening, Sophia began to lift her chin, not as the hired nanny, but as someone who mattered. What she didn't know was that her presence alone was about to redefine the night. The music played on, and laughter filled the room, but Sophia couldn't ignore the whispers that seemed to follow her wherever she went. As she walked past a group of elegantly dressed women, their words stung like sharp blades. "She's just the nanny," one of them muttered, her voice dripping with mockery. Another chuckled, "Can you imagine? Out of all the women in this city, he brings her." Heat rushed to Sophia's cheeks. She lowered her gaze, clutching her glass tightly, wishing she could melt into the crowd and vanish. Her heart pounded, not from shame of who she was, but from the cruel way others dismissed her worth with a single label. Ethan noticed the shadow in her eyes. He had seen that look before, the quiet resignation of someone made to feel small. Without hesitation, he walked to the stage, his presence commanding the room. The chatter hushed instantly. Taking the microphone, everyone expected him to deliver the usual speech about quarterly profits and corporate growth. Instead, his voice carried something different, something raw and personal. He began to speak of Sophia, recounting how she had stepped into his daughter's life when the little girl was drowning in grief. He described the nights Sophia stayed by Lily's side, singing softly until the child finally slept, and how her kindness had restored laughter in a home that had long forgotten joy. A ripple of surprise swept through the crowd. The story unfolding was not about business, it was about love, sacrifice, and the power of humanity. A hush blanketed the ballroom as Ethan's words echoed through the microphone. The man known for ruthless deals and billion-dollar negotiations now spoke with a trembling sincerity that no one had ever heard before. He turned toward Sophia, his eyes soft but unwavering. "She is not just a nanny," he declared, his voice carrying across the hall. "She is the heart of my family. She gave my daughter back her smile when I thought it was lost forever. No amount of wealth or success could ever replace what she has given us." Gasps rippled through the crowd, followed by an uneasy silence. Those who had mocked her just moments ago now sat frozen, their champagne glasses forgotten in their hands. Sophia felt her eyes welling with tears, her chest tightening with emotions she could hardly contain. For so long, she had lived quietly in the background, unnoticed, unseen, yet here she stood, illuminated not by glittering lights but by the truth of her own worth. Slowly, someone began to clap, then another, until the entire room rose to their feet in thunderous applause. The standing ovation washed over her like a wave, breaking down the walls of insecurity she had carried all evening. In that moment, the gala transformed. It was no longer about luxury or power, it was about kindness, sacrifice, and the reminder that true greatness comes from lifting others up. And for the first time that night, Sophia no longer felt like a guest, she felt like she truly belonged. As the applause faded and the music slowly resumed, something had shifted in the atmosphere. Guests who once looked at Sophia with thinly veiled disdain now approached her with genuine warmth. Several employees shook her hand, thanking her for what she had done for Lily, admitting that Ethan's words had opened their eyes. Others confessed how her story had reminded them of their own mothers, sisters, or mentors who had quietly sacrificed for their families. Sophia, still overwhelmed, smiled through tears, her humility shining brighter than any jewel in the room. Ethan then raised his voice once more, announcing that he would be launching a new foundation in his late wife's name. A program dedicated to supporting women like Sophia, who gave so much of themselves to care for others. The crowd erupted in approval, but Sophia's heart nearly stopped. She looked at Ethan, her lips trembling, unsure how to thank him. He simply gave her a nod, as if to say she had inspired it all. Later that night, as they left the gala, Lily clung to Sophia's arm, whispering, "You're my hero." Those simple words meant more than the ovation, more than the admiration of strangers. For Ethan, too, something had changed. For years, his life had been measured in contracts and numbers, but now he realized true wealth was found in gratitude, love, and the people who made us whole. And as the night drew to a close, they all carried with them one lasting truth: lifting others is the greatest legacy of all.